Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Reaction Channel. My name is Sunny90, and today we're going to be reacting to 30 countries described in 1 minute by Sir Swag. Go like, go subscribe, everything else like that. I'm sure Sir Swag deserves all the love, happiness, joy in the world that he could ever possibly get. Now, I know this is going to be a meme video. Obviously, it's going to... I listened to like the first 3.5 seconds of this video, and it's that weird auto-voiced guy, the one like the text-to-chat thing. Is that the... how? Yeah. Anyway, it's that type of thing. It's going to be memes, jokes, probably tasteless jokes, but whatever, who cares? Just take it on the nose. So I'll be laughing along, reacting to it, seeing if I agree or disagree. I don't know. We'll just go along with it and see what happens. Not every one of my videos has to be serious. Most of them tend to be about learning. Not all of them.
Welcome to a video where we describe 30 countries in one sentence. Let's get started. Introducing the country that lost a war to a bunch of birds.
That is one of the most famous things about Australia. That and the fact that it is a murder death alley. Just with all the different animals that just want to fucking murder you. Like, New Zealand just fucks sheep. But Australia has a lot of deadly animals.
Enjoy your stay in the land of delicious food, beautiful architecture, and enough collective hair grease to run McDonald's for a year. Islands.
I think of Rome when I think of Italy, like a fallen empire and a country that is trying to like rebuild itself after losing a massive continental empire, even though it's thousands of years after, but still.
Its biggest exports are potatoes, alcohol, and bar fights. Ireland's biggest exports are potatoes, alcohol, and bar fights. Welcome.
Yeah, I can't argue that.
To Scotland, where dresses are manly, unicorns are the national animal, and having an official national anthem isn't important.
And golf.
Introducing an enormous debt that Germany will never get back.
That is what is very famous about Greece. Ruins and debt. They're both their countries and ruins, and they have a lot of ruins. That's just how it goes, it seems, with Greece. Poor guys.
Introducing an enormous debt that Germany will never get back. The South African accent is more or less that of an evil Australian. Welcome.
An evil Australian. When I think of South Africa, I think of the drought. And the switch from apartheid to democratic government structure, and then how I believe the new government is now starting to, at least in some way, started persecuting the white farmers there, I think. So what's happening? So it's like swinging from the white farmers persecuting the majority blacks to the majority blacks persecuting the whites, which is tends to be what happens in that type of environment.
Come to the set of The Lord of the Rings, which grew into its own nation. Who would have guessed that a nation of bloodthirsty Vikings would end up being the happiest country in the world?
That's because they stole all the attractive people and brought them into one country. That's why all Scandinavia is fucking attractive. Because they stole all the most attractive people from Northern Europe and brought them all back. Who wouldn't be happy?
Welcome to a country renowned for its entertainment and media, but working 100 hours a week means you'll never enjoy that anyway. If you buy something while in China.
Yep. That their work ethic, I believe most East Asian countries have ridiculously high student suicide rates, just because of the sheer amount of pressure they put on to doing well and succeeding and everything else like that. So their suicide rates just go way up. They produce a lot of good content, but they're not happy.
China. It's cherished forever. If you buy something that comes from China, it's a piece of garbage.
Yeah, true, everything you buy from China is a piece of garbage. I mostly think of China as realistically the new Soviets or the new Nazis, with the way they're treating their populations. The way they're treating Hong Kong, the way they're treating Tibet, the way they're treating the Uyghurs. Terrible stuff, look into it.
Switzerland is a world leader in both watchmaking and not shooting people in other countries. Yeah. Kenya's biggest exports are...
And, hiding Nazi stuff. The Nazis hid a lot of their gold and other stolen artifacts in Switzerland, and since Switzerland is well known for their neutrality, they just don't care.
Tea, coffee, and people within other countries. Kenya's biggest exports are tea, coffee, and people with very long legs. Welcome to the country with more Spanish speakers than Spain.
Yeah.
Losing the 1950 World Cup is often considered a national tragedy to the Brazilian population.
The 1950?
50 World Cup is often considered a national tragedy to the Brazilian population.
You could also say, if Mexico has more Spanish-speaking people than Spain, Brazil has more Portuguese-speaking people than Portugal. Funny how that works. But yeah, what was that? What was it a World Cup where they lost horrifically badly to Germany? Wasn't it like they were down by like 8 or something? I can't remember. It was a massive thing, and there's massive political fallout from it. Brazilians were like weeping in the streets. I can't remember when that was, but I remember that was a thing.
Welcome to a country with an official population smaller than the amount of people who have been into space.
I think it's 99% male, possibly 100% male. That is the population of the Vatican, because I don't think women can't be priests in Catholicism, so I think it's nearly 100% male. If it's not 100%, I'm not sure if there's like a weird like loophole where there's like a nun there or something, but yeah.
Enjoy your stay in a place where everything is perfectly engineered and everyone sounds angry.
Germans do sound angry all the time. There's also, yeah, Germans do sing anger all the time. Also, they've lost 2 world wars.
Introducing number.
So it kind of makes sense.
Everything is perfectly engineered, and everyone sounds angry. Introducing number 7 of the top 10 jokes that went too far. The average
yeah.
Canadian will happily save you from a bear attack before apologizing that you had to see their arm being ripped off. The Netherlands.
I'm Canadian. We are very polite. I remember I went on a cruise a couple years ago, and everyone I met was immediately like, "Oh, you're Canadian. Oh, you're Canadian. Oh, you're Canadian." I didn't have like a Canada badge on me or anything, but apparently, like, holding open the door or like saying, "Oh, thank you," or saying, "Oh, no, don't worry," or like just being super polite is like a well-known Canadianism, and apparently I was doing it just completely subconsciously. And the people I was with, I ran into a couple other Canadians as well, and they had the exact, like, the same realization as everybody kept being like, "Oh, you're Canadian. Oh, you're Canadian. You're Canadian." It's like, they're like, oh, I guess it's so ingrained into us. We have the British need to be polite. Since the British are known for being polite and sassy and kind of assholes, the Canadians just have the be polite part. We didn't pick up the sass. So yeah, that's very true.
Attack before apologizing that you had to see their arm being ripped off. The Netherlands is famous for tall people, high people, and that guy who cut his own ear off once. Being
yeah, there's Dutch people are very tall. In the area I live in, the Fraser Valley, there's a massive Dutch population. A lot of Mennonites live out here, and a lot of Dutch live out here. So we have a lot of Dutch people out here, and they're tall. They're all easily in like the 6 foot. I'm 5'7", so I'm like looking up at these people who are like 6'2", 6'3", and I'm like, what the fuck?
Being a country that has more saunas than cars, Finland certainly has their priorities straight. Well,
they also are dangerous when it comes to guerrilla warfare. They're terrifying in war. Like they have some of the most insane soldiers. Look up the White Death and things like that. Like they're crazy in Finland.
Welcome to the highest proportion of unnatural blonde men in the world. This nation is still yet to.
Welcome to the highest proportion of non-blonde men in the world. True. So true.
Welcome to the highest proportion of unnatural blonde men in the world. This nation is still yet to live up to its biggest achievements from over 4,000 years ago.
That is stressingly accurate when it comes to Egypt. They that must be rough. If you grew up, it's gonna be weird to say, but if you grew up like Egyptian and you know that your country was greater thousands of years before you were alive, like where you are now is worse than where you were, must be so mind-fuckingly weird just to know that it's like your country isn't as good as your ancestors made it. Like that would eat at my soul if I was Egyptian. I don't know if other Egyptians think that way or if they just don't care. I don't know, and I'm not. And if you don't think that way and you're Egyptian, that's fine too. But I don't know since I like history so much, like that would be such like a nationalist. I'm Canadian, so I don't have much of a nationalistic instinct. But if I was from a place with like a massive long history, like the pride of the country would be there. But knowing that your country just isn't at all close to what it used to be would eat my soul.
Welcome to a country where a taxi driver makes exponentially more than a doctor. It was said that England colonized.
I've actually met a couple people since I travel in very left-leaning groups, since I'm part of an environmental protest group. We're not protesting right now, but I'm part of a environmental protest group. And I've met people who are like, "Oh, Cuba's so great, Cuba, blah blah blah," like it's stupidly left from my perspective. And it's like, dude, no, like they live. There's a reason people flee Cuba, right? Like there's a reason people aren't fleeing to Cuba. There's a reason people are fleeing Cuba. It's not because it's good to live in. It's because it's a totalitarian regime. You can argue that the government did make big strides and like did develop itself pretty decently, but it's still a totalitarian regime and not a place you ever want to live under, right?
Achievements from over 4,000 years ago. Welcome to a country where a taxi driver makes exponentially more than a doctor. It was said that England colonized the world in search of food that doesn't taste like garbage, and a day of the year without rain.
British food is pretty good though.
Welcome to the unexpected birthplace of Santa Claus. Even
one of the going back to the sorry, I'm getting my mind back in order. Going back to the British Empire. The British Empire was really only around for just over 100 years. And it's funny how we have this tendency to be like, oh, the British Empire was like a key staple of the world. And it's so weird that, oh, how come... and it's weird now that the English Empire is like collapsed and England's no longer like a great power. And their people... a lot of the right-wing people in their country still kind of think that they're like a superpower when they're not at all. You saw that with Brexit, how they think they can do whatever they want, and then you're not a superpower anymore. You can't bully anyone, and it's funny how they were only like a superpower for maybe just over 100 years, probably a bit more than that. When was the 70 Years' War? That's about when they took over the world. But yeah, it's funny how just over 100 years makes the people so proud. But there's been empires that lasted for hundreds of years, like the Roman Empire and things like that, and the Italians don't have nearly as much pride when it comes to it. I guess it's because it was so much nearer, so much closer, but out of everything, like, you would think the Italians would have so much more pride. I mean, I guess they did under Mussolini, and that got thoroughly lambasted, but it's interesting to think, right? Just the difference of nationalism.
After all these years, welcome to the unexpected birthplace of Santa Claus. Even after...
I didn't know Turkey was the birthplace of Santa Claus.
After all these years, Borat is still the most iconic figure to come out of Kazakhstan. Welcome to the land of the free, which ironically houses the highest proportion of incarcerated people in the world. Introducing a country whose name was one of the first recorded uses of mass clickbait. France.
Yeah, they did kind of lie to get people to go there.
Would be the current rulers of Europe if Russia wasn't so cold. Welcome to...
Yeah, I mean, even if Napoleon didn't really invade Russia, France would have eventually lost most of Europe, just because nationalism is a thing. But yeah, Napoleon made a mistake going into Russia.
To a parallel universe. Somebody. Russia wasn't so cold. Welcome to a parallel universe.
Welcome to a parallel universe? Russia? I'm confused by that last one. Well, that was fun. That was a fun little romp down the side. 14 minutes for a 3-minute video. Sounds like me. Yeah, go like, go subscribe. They deserve it. They put effort into this more than I do. If you liked my weird little commentary to this, give me a subscribe, everything else like that. If you feel like it. If you hate me and want to leave comments about how much I suck, go for it. Your hatred fuels me. But apart from that, go join my Twitch, go join my Discord. Leave comments on what you want me to do next. I don't know if I've already said that. Love, butts, and happiness, everything else like that. I'll see you in the next one. Oh, is that it? Yeah. I had like an idea, and then the idea immediately died when I was like, oh. And now I don't know what the O was, so bye. Maybe it'll come to me later. Bye.